Hello, hello. So I treated myself to these new pencils by Posca. Well, new to me. I actually don't know how long ago these came out because I never knew that Posca made colored pencils. I know them for their paint pens, and I'm always kind of on the lookout for a good deal on them because they are so fabulous. And I've never tried them before. I have other paint pens that I got that are not quite as expensive as the Posca ones. But on Amazon, I guess because I every once in a while I search for Posca paint pens, Amazon has does a pretty good job of recommending things to me. And there was a lightning deal on the Posca paint pens. I did get myself some, and as well these came up, and it wasn't too terribly expensive, and it was something like 45 or 46% off. So I thought I would give it a try. So this is a set of 36 colored pencils, and they are oil based, which makes me think that they are a little bit more akin to the Faber-Castell polychromos, because I think those are, I mean, all colored pencils have some wax in them because that's sort of, one of the binding agents. But I think this one, if it's anything like the polychromos, which are pretty high end, should perform really, really well. And while this was a little bit of an impulse buy, I did actually kind of look up reviews of these because it was on sale, but it wasn't. I wouldn't say it was super duper cheap either. And some of the reviews I saw, several of them actually compared these to I think Holbein. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that correctly, but that's like a super top end color pencil. So feels like this might be a really good deal, especially when it's on sale for as much as it was. And so this is my first look at these pencils, and I have to say I'm not a super great colorist. I'm not super adept at using colored pencils, but I do swatch out my colored pencils. These are the Jane Davenport ones that I have. I don't have a ton, and I haven't swatched out everything that I own, but the Prismacolors are probably the ones that I use the most. And then I have just a very, very small set of the Polychromos, which are really, really lovely. So that's what my plan is. I'm actually just going to kind of do the same as the way that I swatch is that I kind of do, one, with light pressure. I just try to go over the same area one time, two times, three, and four, and see like how much of a range can I get, and how much do I actually need to burnish in order to get really, dark, coverage. So that's what I'm gonna do. This is my Strathmore colored pencil paper. So I don't actually, draw or illustrate or anything, but in order to kind of give everything a baseline, I do like to swatch everything on this paper, even though most of the time when I'm using my color pencils, it's to color in maybe a stamped image. And I'm not always using paper that's ideal for color pencil work. And what I think I'll do is I'm going to save the white to last, and I'll just color that over a block that's, maybe I'll set that up now and make myself a nice block that is black. So all I do for that is I just take a Sharpie and just draw a black box. So I will swatch a couple of the pencils just in real time so that I can capture my initial thoughts. And then what I'll do is I'll speed up swatching the rest. All right, so I'll let that set for a little bit. I might need a couple because this looks really light. And I already knew this from watching other reviews. The color is actually numbered at the end of the barrels so that basically as you use this, it'll be there to the very end unless it scratches off. Okay, this might be too light, so I think I'm going to give myself a second black box for that color as well. We'll do both of those against black, because I don't think I'll be able to see it on this paper. Normally when you're swatching, it's a good idea to swatch onto paper that you would typically color onto so that you get a good idea for how the final color will look on whatever paper you tend to use the most often. But when I'm making cards, most of the time I use a pretty smooth paper like Hammermill to color onto, and color pencils don't typically shine their best on a smooth paper because it doesn't have enough of a tooth to or grit to the paper to really grab that wax. So I'll skip the first two pencils and we'll start with this one. So I'll do a light pass all the way across about, an inch or so. So that's one. And then two, I'll make my way back, reserving about, a quarter of it there. So that's 2, 3, and I'll come back for 4. That's also really light color. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. I could probably get more layers on. Because I'm having to go pretty light on the pressure for this first pass. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I think my fourth pass wasn't very... So I had to go back and forth a little bit on that to get it to have really full coverage. Okay, all in all, pretty good. I am going to go ahead and speed this up as I swatch out the rest. Okay, so that is all of the colors swatched out. I added a couple more black boxes to swatch some of these brighter colors, and all in all, I think it's a really nice range. Love all of the blues and going into the teals and greens. Not a lot of purples. I mean, that's really the only one. I knew that going in because of the reviews. And I definitely agree with that feedback. And I feel like these reds, in particular these two, but really, you know, these two are really similar. These two are really similar. I just feel like I can see the subtle differences, but they're subtle. I would have much preferred maybe another purple that's like darker, richer purple, like a more royal purple, rather than so many reds. And that's a lot of reds that are not too different. Like if you look at these two, they also look pretty similar. So feels like there's just too much of that. And then I appreciate the browns and sort of the skin tone here. That's really nice. I don't really think I need too many of these grays either. I feel like that's a lot. I mean, I like the light, mid, dark in my alcohol markers a lot. And this is a really nice range of mid, dark and light, but feel like just two would have been enough, and maybe another purple. It's been a while since I've swatched, so I'm just looking back to see. So this is, I'm not going to do the baby oil and the alcohol because, to be honest, I don't ever really use them practically in any of my color pencil. It's nice to do as an exercise because you can see it does help to dissolve some of the binding agents, and so you get a smoother blend. And you know, that might be something interesting to do maybe later. I probably won't do that this time around. But I do want to try this blend. So this is trying to blend from one color to another, from a red to a blue. So I think if I had to pick, that would be the blue that I would use, and maybe that would be the red. I'm going to have to go back and number these, but for now, I'll just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that should be that. And then the blue is going to be on this tray. I think that's that. So that. I really like this sort of indigo color. So I think this is the blue I want. Okay. So, to do this, basically, I want to go red 2/3 of the way over, blue 2/3 of the way from right to left. And I'll start with light pressure. And then come back so that I have a little bit of an ombre where it's lightest in the middle here. And then coming from the opposite side, I'll do the same, but with the blue, and then I'll overlap in between, come back, and then, so that was up and down, and then now I'm gonna do side to side. Just light pressure going over the center. And just building up the layers. It's getting kind of muddy in the center there. I don't feel like I'm getting a really nice, a really nice purple. This red might have a little too much orange in it. But okay, so that's how it kind of compares. So I think I just need maybe some more layers. Okay, so that is that blend. I mean, I kind of like the, this is the Jane Davenport. I feel like I like those better. Polychromos, and these are the polychromos on this side, I think. No, these are the polychromos here, and these are Prismacolors. And yeah. So that's those. Now let's try to do the sphere. And I'll just pick maybe this color. So with the sphere, it's just, you know, trying to get a highlight and get some midtones and get some shadows, but just from one color, and building up the layers. So just sketch out a circle, and then I'm gonna try something a little bit different with my swatching, because I feel like it's going to be quite possible to get a lot of layers, because I feel like this is really, really light pressure, and I'm forcing myself to color very lightly by holding the pencil way far back. That'll be the little highlight way far back at the end of the barrel, so that I actually can't really put heavy pressure on this. And so my light will be hitting from here, and so it'll get gradually darker over here. So I'll just continue to build up. And this is all with the same light pressure, just continuing to kind of build that up. I haven't even put any firm pressure to really burnish, but I'm going to do that now. So I'm going to burnish with like very heavy pressure at the edges here. The pencil feels solid even with heavy pressure. It doesn't feel like I'm gonna, I mean, it's a very thin pencil and it's very light, but even with this heavy pressure to really burnish this in and make it nice and solid, it's doesn't feel like it's gonna snap or anything. So wow, that's really nice. Okay, so that's my little sphere exercise. And then what I thought I would do is gonna take this and I'm gonna try a different swatch. I kind of want to count up the layers of light pressure, kind of like this, but just a little bit, maybe a little bit more systematically. So let's just go really light pressure. Okay, so that's really light pressure. Get a nice, just square this up a little bit. So that's one. And I'll come crossways for two. And the reason to go in opposing directions is because it helps to kind of fill in the grit of the paper a little bit better. So that's two. I just left a little square, that's one. Then I'm going to come across this way with three. That was three. This is going to be four. Okay, that was four. I didn't really split this up very well, so we'll put five down here. So five will be like this. And then we'll go six. 6 from that line. Okay, and then 7. Eight. Okay, that was 8. This will be 9. Okay, now I'm having to go kind of medium pressure to really see a difference. 10. Again, medium pressure. So that was 10. 11. Wow, look at the layers I'm getting. Oh my gosh. Okay, and then this will be 12. Really firm. That was 12. That's crazy. So that's 1 to 12. Pretty cool. I want to do that again, and well, this is a dark color, so the range can get pretty deep. Let me try this in the pink. It's also kind of just fun to do. All right, so I'll aim to do that again. We'll just do it here. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, that was 9, 10, 11, 12. Pretty wild. I mean, I felt like I was starting to put more pressure right around here. But in the end, I got really solid block of color, 12 layers. That's actually pretty fun to do. So, yeah, so this is really good. I'm kind of curious. I want to go back and maybe swatch some of my others just to see how they would perform doing that same test, because I haven't done that with any of my others. Let's see. I have my polychromos. It's been a while since I don't have the whole bean, so I can't compare, or whole bind color pencils, so I can't compare, but I will take this one's pretty dark. These are nice and sharp. Okay, so I'll need to remember to make a note that this is polychromos here. So for comparison, it's crazy how great these layer. I haven't burnished yet. This is 12. So that's 12, and I bet that could take a couple more layers. So real quick, let's just do a block and see how many it takes. So 1, 2. We're at 12, so kind of at that stage. 13 with light pressure. 14 with some mid pressure. 15 with mid pressure. 16. All right, I'm pretty much solid. 16. Oh my gosh. That's 16. So this one is Faber-Castell. Probably Chromos. And otherwise, these are the Posca pencils. And I will definitely go back and label all of these. I would say it's these Posca pencils, pretty darn great. I mean, really getting a lot of layers. The colors look really bright and vibrant, and now that we're doing this, I want to do this test, but let's do it with, let me see if I can find a Prismacolor that is a nice equivalent to the blue. I'm sure I have something. So Prismacolors are what I reach for, because I have the broadest range. Let's use this. And they are great. The only thing with the Prismacolor is that, you know, a lot of people have said, I've also found to be true, is some of the tips, and it feels like it depends on color, but some of the tips do actually kind of break when you sharpen. Okay, so that's one. Pretty cool. I think I might have done that one slightly wrong. When I skip down to the next row, I think I've tended to maybe missed a pass or two. So this is not perfectly scientific, but it gives me a good idea. And yeah, I mean, pretty amazing. I'm gonna just do that as a single color, as a single block, and let's just see how that looks. So we'll do that over here. Okay, so that's 12, roughly the same pressure. So 13, firm pressure, 14. 15. I think I can do one more. Yep, 16. So that can go to 16 too. Pretty amazing. Yeah, I think the Posca pencils are really nice. I mean, I'm you know, not super versed in color pencils, don't do a ton of color pencil coloring, but for my purposes, I feel like they are really on par with everything else that I have, and I think they're going to be fun. The color range is pretty nice. Missing some purples. By comparison, I think this might be a 72 set. I mean, here's what I have in purples in my Prismacolors, which is a really nice range. I mean, it's a larger set, So of course it's going to have more, but I'm excited to actually use these more and do more colored pencil coloring. So I'm a sucker for media supplies, so I love this. There is an elastic band. Like, I'm not super thrilled about this as a way to keep the trays together, but I don't really, take these supplies and travel. So for my purposes, I think it's okay, but I don't think it's the most secure. But I'm glad I got them, and as particularly because they were nearly 50% off. Totally worth it. So that's my first look at the Posca color pencils. Thanks for checking out my video today, and until next time, happy crafting and have a fabulous day.